Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to talk a little bit about today is winter golf and what I call my 4 musts to give you a great opportunity to play best that you can in these conditions. And we're lucky enough today to be sponsored by a company called Galway Bay Golf Apparel. It makes great waterproof equipment, and we're going to talk a little bit about them later on, how important your equipment is when you play. But here are 4 key things that I want you to work on. Now, number 1 for me is when I go out and play, and I've talked about this in previous videos, my grip is so important to me. And if it feels like my hands when they get on the golf club don't feel correct, the chances are I'm not going to have a good day. So there are 2 things to start with I look at with my grip, okay? The first one that we're going to talk about is equipment, okay? I've done a video previously showing you how to re-grip your clubs. And what I see a lot of the time, people go out in the winter, your hands are cold, and they've still got clubs and the grips are quite shiny, okay? And we showed you how to re-grip your golf clubs. And it's really, really important that you keep the grips at a level where you feel you can have good grip without you having to grip the club tighter. One of the big failings I would say with most golfers when they play is that if you're gripping the club very tight, you're creating a tremendous amount of tension. And the more tension you create, the worse you're going to play. So this club hasn't been re-gripped. It's really shiny. Don't want that to happen. Go and look at that video, how to re-grip the clubs, or if you want to do it yourself. Or the other option is go to your club pro, or there may be somebody locally to you who do club repairs. Keep those grips in a good condition. That's really, really important. Then from that position, let's get rid of this club now. We don't need that one. Is, as you've probably noticed when I do my videos, I don't wear a glove, and I've never worn a glove. Now, literally, the whole idea of today's video is to show you winter golf. We're now in sort of the middle of November. It's getting a little bit cold. It's getting a little bit wet. But I will have a glove in my bag if it is absolutely torrential, okay? Because I want to feel I can keep hold of that club. But I would say I probably play 99% of my games, I'm not going to wear a glove. I feel happier that if the grips are good, like we've said, they've been re-gripped correctly and they're consistent, I don't need to have a glove. That's my personal feeling, and there are players like Fred Couples over the years who never wore a glove when they played tournament play. If it works for you, wear a glove. But as I said, if you are somebody out there, wet conditions, you find it's easier, have a glove, pop it on, you're going to have more control of what you're going to do. So they're my 2 key things with your hands. My hands need to feel correct on the club. So number 1, make sure your grips are good. Number 2, you know you can grip the club. Even though I don't wear a glove, I have one just in case, because I want to make sure there's never a chance that I could fall into that trap. So that's number 1, make sure your grip is good. So here is our second must-have for winter golf, and we're going to talk a little bit about your technique. Okay, first thing we talked a little bit about technique and equipment and feeling right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about your technique. And we're talking about carry distance. And this is really important all year round. But I think what the great thing with the winter is, the one thing you can learn in the winter is the ball isn't going to run so far. So you can really start to learn how far you actually do carry the ball, because you can start to pay a little bit more attention to the pitch mark that you're making on the green. Now, for me, if you play at a golf course which is similar to this, we have a great greenkeeper here, Rob. He keeps the greens in great condition all year round, and they're receptive all year round. And it's an argument I have with a lot of the members here. They go, oh, you can't stop the ball on the green in the summer. Well, you can if you hit the ball correctly, and number 2, if you're using a decent ball. And I can probably hit something like a 6-iron into these greens and it will stop. All right, hitting in the middle of summer, hitting a hybrid or something like that, it may not, because of the trajectory it's coming in, it might run on a bit. But what golfers seem to do is, because they think of the hard ground, they land the ball short of the green, it hits the hard ground, it takes all the spin off the ball, the greens are lovely mown, they're fast, and the ball runs off the other side of the green. And therein lies the problem. They now think the greens don't hold. Well, they're not going to hold when you land it second, third bounce. You need that softness on the first bounce. So this is great for winter. You can come out, you know the greens are going to be receptive. And what I'd encourage you to do is find a practice ground where you can hit some shots and hit it from, say, 100 yards. Most people can hit the ball 100 yards in the air, and just start to pay attention to two things. Number one, how far the ball flies and where it lands. And then number two, how quick the ball stops. Ultimately, you want the ball to end up at 100 yards. You may be a player who hits it 95 yards through the air, it kicks forward another 5 yards, there's your 100 yards. You might be a player who gets tremendous power, you might get backspin, it might come back a couple of yards. But you're learning exactly what you're going to do. So we're just going to simply hit 4 balls into this green. We're going to go down, look at my pitch marks, and work out exactly what I've done. I'm exactly 100 yards to that flag. Okay, let's see if I can execute the shot correctly. That's obviously the key thing. Make sure we're doing that right. And then from there, we can learn from what we've seen. We'll go down, look at the pitch marks, but as I said, hit 4 shots and learn from it. Okay, so that's nicely on line. Yeah, that's landed on the green, so good. We're going to learn everything from that shot. Probably don't need to hit anymore. We can just learn from that one. That felt a nice shot, really good, but we need to see the consistency of what we're doing. So, same again. Again, another one onto the green. And the good thing from this distance, you can see the ball land on the green, and physically then you know whether you've done it or you haven't. That's the key thing. All right, if you start doing it from 150 yards, it's a little bit harder to see, but ultimately you want to be able to do it from 150 or 125, know what club you're going to hit. I'm just hitting a pitching wedge here, 100 yards for me. That's a nice comfortable shot. 2 more, then we'll go and have a look. Okay, the nice thing today, they're all coming off the club face quite nicely. That one's come off a little bit further. That's interesting. Using the same balls. So that one went a little bit further. There we go. So I'm really happy with those 4 shots. Okay, let's go and see the results and explain what we've done, and then work out an average. And then the result is, can I do that consistently? But at least I'm getting some good information to help me to move my game forward. So let's look at the results that we've got. And you hopefully from that camera angle can see all 4 balls here as we've gone through. One really good, ended up pretty much bang on the 100 yards. Well, look at that one first. That was the second shot. And my pitch mark is literally 6 inches the other side of the ball. So on this occasion, I've hit that. Let's just repair that. I've hit that bang on 100 yards through the air, and it has stopped dead. Okay, really, really happy with that. Okay, now what I'm interested in, how quick the balls have stopped. So let's go back to, this is the first ball. This is the first ball that I hit. 1, 2, 3, 4 paces. So I've ended up 96 yards. And here's my pitch mark, literally a foot in front. So similar to what we had with that one, stopped very, very quickly. So I would say that's gone literally 95, 96 yards through the air. And then it stopped pretty quickly. So I'm learning some good things from those 2 shots, okay? Now, the other 2 were struck really nicely, but they've gone a little bit further. Let's see what we can find. Now, for some reason, it's interesting. This was the last shot, which is the ball there, okay? And this is the pitch mark. So he's landed about 102 yards, okay? Again, I'm going to repair all these, make sure they get done. Last thing I want is the green to be in any worse condition than when I've arrived. So that's gone about 102 yards through the air, and it's run out a further 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. So that's gone 108 yards. But still very happy with that. If I'm within 8 yards of the hole, which is what, 25 feet, from 100 yards, I'm comfortably going to play to my scratch golf. Okay, here's our third shot, which went a little bit further. Let's pace it out so we're giving you all the data, and then I'll see if I can remember it, because again, try and go through this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's flown 107 yards roughly. And then it's gone on a further 2 yards. So let's say that's got to 110, let's say. Okay, so let's see if I can remember what we've done there. So that flew 107, that was the longest. Shortest flew about 95. So there's a 12-yard difference there. And you can see, even as a professional golfer, I'm not hitting every shot perfect. But hopefully, if I can guarantee I'm going to be around that 10, 12 yards consistency through the air, Most greens, I mean, this green, if we sort of measured it out, is probably 40 yards in length. If I'm only having a differential of about 10 to 12 yards through the air, and I pretty much know where the flag is, I'm going to land the ball on the green. So I'm actually quite happy with those results. And people look at that and go, oh, you should be better, you should be doing better. No. If you watch my videos, we talk about data, we talk about a lot of things, but it's important to understand nobody is that perfect. Even Scotty Scheffler, the world #1, he is exceptional. Yes, he would probably be landing them within 2 or 3 yards of each other. I'm quite happy to be only 12 yards there. Okay, that's okay. And if I'm consistent with that from 110, 120, 130, I'm going to have a great day on the golf course. So the whole idea of this second part is all about learning what's the carry distance, pay attention to how far the ball rolls. It ranged from about stone dead where it landed, and that could be the part of the green that you've hit, to maybe only getting around about 4 paces or so of roll on the shot. And again, I'm only hitting a pitching wedge there, so I'd expect it to stop pretty quickly. But it's understanding what you do. If you're coming in slightly lower, you might be hitting an 8-iron from there. You might be landing it short, you might get a little bit more roll. You might be a more powerful golfer. You're hitting in a sand iron, it might stop even more quickly. As I said, you might even get the ball coming back. But pay attention to 2 things. Where's it landed? Where's it ended up? And start to work out what you need to do. Because when you've got something in your way, like water, like we do on the 3rd hole here, you need to guarantee you can carry that water and you know what you're going to do. You've got bunkers to go over, you know you can get over those bunkers. They don't exist if you hit the shot correctly. So there's part 2, making sure you're going to enjoy your winter golf, get more consistency. Let's go and have a look at our 3rd thing. So our 3rd thing, again, is another thing to do with equipment. And it's not your clubs, it's not your golf balls, it's about what you're wearing. And when you go out and play in the winter, for me, the 2 things you want to make sure you are is you're warm and you're dry. And as we said at the start of the video, Galway Bay Golf Apparel have sponsored today's event. And we're just going to talk a little bit about waterproof gear and how important it is. I always remember as a junior, 2 problems I had when I went out and played. Is 1, I didn't have great waterproofs. They would leak a little bit, but also they were made of a fabric that was, if it suddenly turned like today, we started in rain and now it's turning into quite a nice day, is you start to overheat. And what we've got with this particular company is they are 100% waterproof, but they're also breathable. And that's really important, that suddenly if it does change, you're not going to start sweating and overheating. So we talked about staying warm and dry, but you don't want to go the other way as well. Okay. All of their equipment, when you look at it, as I said, is guaranteed with this waterproofing. The zips are all lined, everything, so you're not going to get any water go through the zips. It makes it so much better. But here's the one bit of equipment I liked, okay? The one thing I hated when I went onto the golf course was wearing a pair of waterproof trousers over my trousers, and especially if you had to try and put those trousers on halfway through a round. And you've got your spikes on, or your soft spikes, and you're trying to get over the top, just never worked. They've made a set of trousers which are lined. I'm literally just wearing those trousers, and because they're breathable, now it's getting a bit warmer, it doesn't feel like I'm getting that hot. So they offer you some great equipment, but it's really important what we're saying is that you've got waterproofs that are going to keep you warm and dry, so you keep enjoying yourself on the golf course. If you want to have a look at their equipment, please do. There's a link that you can have a look at and look at their equipment. But really important, when you get on that golf course, so you can enjoy yourself, stay warm and dry. So here's our 4th and final bit. We've talked about equipment, we've talked about technique. Now we're going to talk about your mind. And I always think it's a strange thing, golf. If a golfer goes out and it's okay, the weather, even if they get to the 2nd tee and it starts raining, you carry on playing. The attitude is, well, I'm out here, I'll play. But if you get to the golf course and it's raining, you probably all put your clubs back in the car and go home. You don't go out and play. Yet you're going to play one more hole in the wet weather. And your attitude, you've got to embrace the conditions. You've got to go out. And the great thing is, if you're playing a competition at your club, the likelihood is well over 50% of the golfers are not going to want to be out there on the golf course, because they think, oh, I'd rather be indoors. I could be doing something else much nicer. So if you can go out there and think straight away, well, 50% I've beaten, because they don't want to be here, Now, can I become a good player in windy, wet conditions? Can I get into a situation where I'm prepared to go out there? Okay, I've got my clubs right. I've got the grips right. I know how far I'm going to hit the ball. I've got the right waterproof equipment on. I'm in the right attitude, not leaving any stone unturned. And if you can go out with that attitude and look forward to it, the chances are probably there's only about 10-15% of the players out there thinking the same way exactly as you are who may compete with you. So your fourth thing is your attitude. Go out there and think, I'm the best rain player in the world. I'm the best windy golfer in the world. Go out there and have fun. And if you do that, it's amazing how you'll do well. So let's just do a quick recap on our 4 musts to play great winter golf. Number 1, your hands. So important. Make sure your grips are good enough that you physically don't have to grip them tight. Okay, if you don't wear a glove like myself, make sure your hands are dry. But if you need to, wear a glove. But if you wear a glove, and that's something you rely on a lot, maybe have 2 or 3 in the bag. So if it gets a bit wet, you can swap it over. 2, make sure you've got the right distances. We played a shot from 100 yards. You saw my differential, about 12 yards through the air. That's okay. Because if I know I'm going to be in that area consistently, I'm going to hit the green from 100 yards. So learn your carry distance. Pay attention then to how far the ball rolls. If you're getting more roll than you want, have a little look at the club that you're using. Also look at the ball you're using. If you're using a distance ball, it probably won't have as much spin. If you use a mid-range ball, you might get a bit more. If you're using something like a Titleist Pro V1, you get a lot more spin. So again, that may be something to look at. You may find, well, I seem like I'm landing in a consistent place, but the ball's running too far. Have a look at your golf ball. So equipment. 3, again, another equipment thing that we're looking at, waterproofs. Make sure you go out there, you feel warm, you're dry. Okay? A big thank you again to Galway Bay Golf Apparel for sponsoring today's video, but it's really important that you, as an individual, feel comfortable on the golf course. And then number 4, attitude. Become mentally the best golfer out there. Look forward to going out and playing in those conditions. Okay? Because as I said, at least 50, I'd say it's probably more than that, 60-70% don't want to be out there. So if you can get mentally right, suddenly you might win all the winter medals. You might win all the winter competitions and take the silverware. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's going through all these sort of different things. For me, are all important. They're my 4 key things. Okay, so grip, carry distance, waterproofs, and my attitude. And if they're good when I go out and play, I normally have a decent day. And I hope if you take these ideas on board, it'll make a massive difference to your winter golf. If you have enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon.